Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host Jump. Today we talk about Barbarian, the latest entry of our lineup of our early Halloween specials. But yeah, this is again another not late, but recent horror movie starring Bill Skarsgård and Georgina, I forgot her last name, but yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Good job, man.
I know, right?
Job.
Georgina Campbell, fuck.
There you go, yeah.
Justin Long, which
I'll
it's been a while since we've seen Justin Long in anything serious.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? He's been in the Chipmunks forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, he's Theodore. But, like, I mean, he was in Tusk. He was also in, like, Drag Me to Hell. I think that was serious, was it?
Yeah. Sure.
Anyway, alright, we haven't seen him in a while, right?
Yeah. But yeah, this movie is quite interesting because it goes from like having light tones to being like, oh fuck, we're going there. Okay.
The amount of zigs and zags that we have to go through
Yeah.
just to watch this movie, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
You know, like it adverted our expectations all throughout the entire movie. I remember watching this with my mom. I remember watching this with my friends, and with each like time I watch this, it still gets me. And I would say nobody talks about Barbarian. This is a very underrated movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. Which is odd because I do think it's pretty good. Though I do think it's less effective the second time I watch this because I'm like, oh, I know the surprises now.
I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
Like this is the best time to watch this, like for the first time.
Yeah.
So this is our warning to you. If you haven't seen it, watch it and then come back to this video.
Yeah, and that's your warning because from here on out we're talking spoilers, but we mostly do. But this is a special warning for Barbarian because it is quite effective first time around. But yeah, it starts out like oddly enough because it's both Tess and Keith in this Airbnb that they both misbook or the corporation just fucked up, and you're like,
Yeah.
that's odd. And like obviously it's a sus situation because you're like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right off the bat, like the red flag alarm is just like everything's wrong, everything's bad. Like she gets out of her car, she goes to the Airbnb, she looks left and she looks right. It's just darkness on both sides. And I'm just like, I was like, oh my lord. And then there's a guy already in her Airbnb,
yeah,
and he's already sus. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's Bill Skarsgård, but he's it though. But yeah.
right. But Keith turns out to be alright. It's like later on when she discovers the hidden passageways, especially that room with a bloody handprint and a camera. I'm like, I don't like the sense of that. Like, I love the fact that when she looks into the void, she's just like, nope.
No. Yeah, I was like when I was watching it with my friends, we were both like, huh,
Yeah.
wait, what happens now?
Right.
He's not gonna go down there. What happens now?
Yeah, she's just
And
like,
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's very smart. And she like points us like the mirror down the hallway because she has no way out because the door locks on its own.
yeah,
And if you're wondering where is Keith in all of this, both of them kind of went to Detroit she went for a job interview. He's like doing some art thing.
yeah,
Yeah. And yeah, he leaves her a note. And he's a pretty good guy.
yeah,
Somewhat. He's a pretty okay guy. And she has to go down. He sees the stuff. She comes back up. Keith is like, what the hell are you talking about? You crazy. I got this, you know?
yeah.
Mr. Machismo here. And I'm like, alright, you go down there. Man goes down. Doesn't come back up.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
shit.
And then that's the first time I saw this, I got jump scared by the creature. I was like, what the fuck is that supposed to be? Just caves in his skull. You're like,
That's the great part, because the whole time we were like, okay, we already know. We saw the trailer. Keith is probably the murderer. He's getting like different girls into this like sex dungeon and pretty much does horrible things to them, and then he will murder this girl. And I was like, yep, don't trust Keith.
Yeah.
And then you're like, get Keith out of there.
Yeah.
Just like, and also the craziest thing is that like all throughout it's just bad and red flags. Like she goes to the interview.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Where are you staying while you're here in Detroit?" And you're like, "I'm staying at this part of town." And they're like, "Get out of there!"
Right. But yeah, the thing crushes his skull and turns it into like tomato paste, and you're like, well, that's the end of Bill Skarsgård. And like
Yeah.
you meet AJ, played by Justin Long, and he's accused of things, and you're like,
Essay.
yeah, yeah,
No.
essay,
Yes.
yeah, that's the proper way to use that. And you're like, there are things that later on in the movie, there's evidence that suggests he is guilty of it. And you're like, oh great, we're following this guy now.
Well, like the whole time we're not gonna lie, like we're like, oh, he's getting accused, and he's just like, and then like he gets to the party. By the way, all right, here's where it all connects. He's an actor. He has property. He has a property in Detroit, which is the Airbnb.
Yeah.
And we're like, so he's the owner.
Yeah.
And he goes there, and he's like trying to like see if he could sell the thing because he can't pay lawyers to defend his case
Yeah.
of being a rapist. I don't know if like they'll cut us for that. Anyway,
Or yeah, being accused of SA, and like again, there's evidence to suggest, like he says the evidence that would be like people would be like, yeah, he's guilty, and you're like,
the part where he was just like, "Did you guys have sex?" And he's like, "Yeah, we had sex." I was like, "Did you say no?" I was like, "She did, but like it took some convincing." I'm like, I was like, "No." I was like, we were kind of rooting for him. We are like, come
Like-
on, man.
like yeah, benefit of a doubt, and then he says
Yeah.
things, and you're like, there goes my doubt.
Yeah, and the guy's like measuring like. I found this entire scene so funny, like the parallels between the girl and the guy.
Yeah.
Like she's very cautious of going down this dark and scary place, and he's just like, "Oh shit, does this count as square feet?"
Yeah.
All right, like pulls out his tape measure. I'm like, man's gonna hustle. All right, go nuts.
Yeah, he even measures that one room, and you're like, do you not notice how very bad it looks? To be like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, it's a room with a camera and a dirty bed and a bloody handprint. What the fuck happened here? He's just like,
You don't like the poop bucket doesn't turn you off already.
right? But no, he encounters the creature too, and then we go back to like the 60s, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I was getting so confused. Not gonna lie, but it all came together,
Yeah.
which I really liked.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the way, that shit was terrifying when he ran into the creature,
Yeah.
and like it's like making him like drink the milk.
Oh,
I
fuck.
I was just like, lady,
Yeah.
I did not want to fucking look. Anyway, yeah, we go back to the '60s, and it was around the time where like Detroit was starting to fall apart, as they called like the
Yeah.
I forgot what they called it. It was like the fleeting whites or something like that, where like all the people who owned some of the some of the houses just pretty much booked it because there was like looters and raiders going on about.
Yeah.
A little history lesson there. But yeah, so while that was happening, this plumber is going on about and like kidnapping women and then pretty much taking him to to his dungeon, and then we're like, what does any of this have to do with anything that's happening in the present? And we go back to what's his name again? AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to escape. Everything's just freaky. There's a bit of a breastfeeding scene, if you guys are okay with that. Yeah, it was just not a good time.
I mean, from that creature, I'd be like, you know what? Can you just disembowel me, please?
Yeah, I was at this point. I was like, nah, just turn. Just turn.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah, right. But yeah, Tess gets free, and then AJ discovers the room with the guy who plays the killer of the Waynes in Batman Begins. I'm like, oh, you're always sus, dude.
Jojo.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and
And he's
then
also like the Night King, isn't he?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, he sees that Mr. Plumber has tapes, and you're like, you see the labels, and you're like, God, fuck. I can't.
Yeah,
And
that shit was messed up.
when he put the tape in, I was like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I really don't want to see it. And then
Thank God they didn't show
yeah.
it.
You hear it, and you're like, God, it's as bad as I. It's no, it's worse than what I thought. It was in my mind. Fuck. And then he's like, ironically, even Age is like, what the fuck, dude? And then
Yeah.
Joe just like, no, I'll unalive myself because he's like,
Yeah, taking no accountability.
yeah, yeah, because he's like, I'll call the police. They'll swarm this place, and the guy's like, ah, fuck.
I say no. Anyway, yeah, Tess gets out, but through circumstances, shit doesn't look good. She goes to the police. I'm like, finally.
Yeah,
But she's in that part of the neighborhood. She's all sweaty and all drab.
yeah,
And she just looks like a druggie.
yeah.
And she's talking all this nonsense about a gigantic lady killing people. And the cops are just like, yeah, sure, whatever, lady. And pretty much just leave her alone. And the hobo from a while ago, not gonna lie, that hobo did not do himself any favors.
Nope, he didn't.
He did not. Like, earlier into the movie, he was kind of chasing Tess. And she was like, little girl! I'm like, dude, like, once you start calling people that, that's the point where you're like, oh, I don't think he wants help or is trying to be helpful.
Right? But yeah, she crushes the creature with her car, and in the process of trying to rescue AJ, she gets shot, and I'm like, damn.
God damn it.
The first time I was like, are you fucking serious? Is she fucking? Oh no, thank God.
Yeah. She gets help from the hobo. They both go to this, like, his secret hiding place. And the hobo is just like, alright. Here's why they're all connected. The crazy serial killer dude who has all the tapes.
Yeah.
He making babies, those babies making babies with those babies. Stuff starts to pile on, you get that monstrosity. And I'm like, damn. Gross.
Yeah.
And I just love it how he's just like, I don't know who's the writer of this movie, but they had great comedic timing.
Yeah.
As he's just like, the guy is just like, I've been here for all my life. Monster ain't ever gonna find me. And the thing just comes in. I was like, well, there he goes.
Rips off his arm and starts to beating him with it. I'm like, what?
I'm like, that's horrible. But that was funny.
Yeah.
By the way, we also kind of like was having a bit of a redemption arc for AJ, and I was like, okay, you might have done it, but you're taking accountability. And he's saying like, I can try to fix it. But once the monster came, he just kind of like booked it. I was like,
No.
all right. Yeah, I think you deserve to die, buddy.
But like, when you see how protective, like why the monster does these things to like for Skarsgård and deservingly to like Justin Long, you're just like, oh, it's because it's protecting Tess. Like, it saw Keith like pulling Tess's arm, and it's like, nah, stop doing that, and that's why she killed Keith. And then when AJ tosses her off that water cellar or whatever it was, she
Yeah,
like,
water tank.
yeah, she dies and catches her, and like AJ's like just like bullshitting, like, you slipped, I couldn't.
The man starts gaslighting. He's like, I didn't know you were gonna fall. I thought you let go.
Yeah.
I'm just like, bruh.
And then we get a more graphic head crushing scene than in Game of Thrones, because you're like, all right, eyes are made more than just pus and liquid or blood. It has like other stuff too. Jesus Christ, movie. And then it just rips his head apart, like, oh fuck.
and like I think they call it like the mother. I
Yeah.
forgot what they call it, but yeah, it starts to like comfort Tess,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh my baby, and Tess is just like, she's just like, nah, nah.
I'm like,
uh,
I'm gonna do
yeah,
you a favor, man, because the world won't accept you anyway.
yeah, like I think the military will, but like, nah.
Yeah. You're better off,
um,
like, in the
yeah,
afterlife. You deserve better. Uh,
yeah. Just imagine though, just like law enforcement coming in, just saying this like 8 foot gigantic lady
yeah.
with sharp claws. I'm like, ah, wow.
Right?
Yeah. The director and I think writer of this did an amazing job
Yeah.
with like representing three three kind of types of male sexism.
Yeah.
I watched James A. Janice's like kill count, and I was just like, oh my god, I did not notice that.
Yeah.
Where it was really good. I love it.
Yeah. The more you said it, I was like, huh, yeah. There's
Yeah.
Keith. And then it just goes downhill from there. I'm like, yeah.
There's like Skarsgård, who has done nothing wrong, but with his upbringing, he's very sexist. But he's not trying to be, but because of his upbringing, he is.
Yeah.
And he's trying to be chivalrous, but at the same time, it just comes off as insulting.
Yeah.
And then there is AJ, who is clearly a very horrible person,
Yeah.
but won't admit.
Yeah.
And then there is
Joe Chill.
Joe Chill, who is straight up the worst of the worst.
Yeah. It represents, like, yeah, you're right. And James A. Janice is right. Fuck, I just realized that now. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Huh, I think I'll bump up my score just because of that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Then in that case, that's a very good commentary too. Holy fuck, I keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch that video too later, just to see the entire thing, because I love his videos. But yeah.
Yeah.
What would you rate Barbarian?
I would rate Barbarian a solid 9 out of 10. This is a really good movie with a really good message within it.
Yeah.
And the twists and turns and all the side stories, they don't just tell a side story just for the sake of telling a side story.
Yeah.
It does connect, and you're like wondering why this thing or that thing is here. When they go to the side stories or like they tell us exposition, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
I had so much fun watching this movie, and this is one of the movies where I'm like willing to rewatch.
Okay.
And excuse me, but I do agree with you. Once you know all of the twists and turns, the surprise factor is kind of gone.
Yeah.
But the movie in of itself, I do appreciate and do love. So this is one of like my top horror movies of all time, because it was brilliantly made in my opinion. The ending itself, I say it was very appropriate.
Yeah.
And comedic timing all around, even though I don't know if it was like on purpose.
Yeah.
Was fucking great. Like yeah. So, what else can I give it praise for? I love it that they gave us a face where it's Bill Skarsgård. I'm getting right, brother, right?
Yeah.
There's like 4 of them.
It's Bill.
All right. There's Bill Skarsgård, and we're like, oh, they got like the big ticket actor, and he's only here for 40 minutes. He's gone right after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we kind of focus on like the female character here.
Yeah.
I like the direction that they went with. And do I recommend this for Halloween? Very much so. Even especially if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Watch it for Halloween. This is a really good lineup. I hate you though. I dread every Halloween because I am forced to watch horror movies all throughout the 4 weeks that we have to go through.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not all gonna be like horror centric. Like maybe it'd be like, I don't know, we'll do Blade in anticipation for the new Nosferatu movie, or like creature features. Who knows?
I got.
But yeah, are you done? What you want to say for the rating?
Yeah, it's a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
It's a solid movie. One of my favorites.
Yeah. I was gonna deduct 1 point for again things not being as shocking the first time, but the moment you said what James Age and he said, I was like, fuck, he's right. That's a good point. So I'll give this a 9 as well. I do like this movie. Like it does subvert your expectations because you're like, all right, we got Bill Skarsgård. He's like a upcoming A-list actor, and he's just gone. And you're like, oh, we got Georgina Campbell from all I know her from is from Krypton, the Superman prequel series. That's about it. And Black Mirror. She was in Black Mirror. I forgot what episode though. And like Justin Long, which I'm like, oh, the guy from Alvin and the Chipmunks. Interesting. And like the reason I if Georgina Campbell's watching this, the reason why I slipped up at the beginning because I was like, Georgina Wilson, no, that it's a Pinay actress. Fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's great. Skarsgård is great. Justin Long is great. Yeah, even Joe Chill. The moments where he doesn't say anything, he's just creepy. I'm just like, man, you've been creepy since Batman Begins. Don't trust you one bit. As a character, I mean. Sure, he's fine as a person. But yeah, good scares, good story. It's a way to show how different plot lines can come together cohesively, and I appreciate for that. But yeah, about 9 out of 10. It's a very good Halloween movie, I would say. And if you're in, like, if you want to watch a horror movie that has some commentary on like the patriarchy, I guess this is one of them. You're just like, I learned something today. But yeah, that's been our video for Barbarian. What do you guys think? And what is your favorite underrated horror movie? Because you are right, this is pretty underrated, surprisingly, despite the fact it has Bill Skarsgård. But I don't think Bill Skarsgård's like there yet with like Glenn Powell in terms of stardom. But he's getting there.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like our stuff, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok to see your best and funniest moments, Spotify to hear us on the go. In the video, I'm Jodas Voices on TikTok and Wolf on Letterboxd. Where can they find you?
Well, you can find me at JohnJam_ on Instagram. It is Maricon.
And for the next lineup, we'll focus mainly on slashers because some are becoming classics at this point, if not called classics. So a hint I would like to get is, do you want to play a game? So yeah.
God damn it.
But yeah, stay tuned for that one. Until then, bye guys.
Ciao.